Welcome to Bud's Beer Blurb, the podcast. You can catch all of our episodes on our YouTube channel. Just search at Bud's Beer Blurb and we'll pop right up. Oh, and do me a favor. Would you hit that subscribe button while you're there, please? Thank you very much. We can also be heard on rss.com, and they have a list of other podcast sites that we're on. Just pick the one you like best. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Just do that whole search at Bud's Beer Blurb again. And be sure to give us a follow while you're there. Alright, let's get to the show. Hey everyone, I'm Bud Esty, and welcome to episode 19 of the podcast. We have a fantastic lineup for you today. Gaura from Labyrinth Brewing Company is back in the studio, sharing the story of the brewery's reboot. Plus, he brought us some classic Labyrinth brews that we've missed very much. Also joining us is Joe Marks from Mr. Beer Critic. We had a great conversation with him about his beer journey, and Nick and I sat down with him to review a few beers. I also had the opportunity to attend the Brimfield Brew Fest, where more than 40 breweries were serving up samples to attendees. The event showcased homebrewers from all over New England, including my good friend, Mike Kennedy of Beerfort. As a matter of fact, let's kick off the show with my highlights from the Beer Fest right after this.
Bud for Bud's Beer Blurb, and I am in Brimfield, Massachusetts at the Brimfield Brew Fest, and I'm standing here with my good friend Mike Kennedy of Beerfort. Mike, how you doing?
Great. Cheers.
And to you. So, you're in a competition here?
Yes. So it's a big homebrew competition. I think there's 15 homebrewers here today.
Wow. Okay. And I see people putting puzzle pieces into your mug. What does that mean?
So they're voting for what they think is the best beer for today, and they're going around just sampling all the beers.
Nice. And there's 40 different breweries here?
Yeah, so there's 2 other pavilions, and they have professional brewers, Little Willow, Rustic, they're all here.
Awesome. So, yeah, we'll be drinking a lot of beers today, I guess.
Cheers to that.
Do the police sit outside the grounds and wait for
us? No, it should be all good.
No. We're going to have a lot of food. We're going to be responsible, but we're going to have a good time. All right. I'm going to move around and see who's here.
Cheers.
Okay, I'm with Rachel, the owner and brewer at 7 Railroads, and they're in Palmer, Mass. Okay, and Rachel, first of all, this is a Doppelbock?
Doppelbock, yeah.
I am a sucker for Doppelbocks. Can you tell me about it?
So it's a traditional German-style Doppelbock, traditionally brewed during springtime.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very malty, raisiny, finishy, clean German lager. Yep. We brewed it with imported German malts and real Hallertau Mittelfra hops.
Okay.
Yep.
And what's the ABV?
7.2?
7.2's good.
7.6.
7.6. See, we're climbing in higher. All right, let's give it a taste. Nailed it. That is beautiful. Yeah, that raisin finish is beautiful.
Yep. No crystal malt in there. It's all just German malt and brewing technique to get that color.
That's beautiful. I love it. Good job, lady. Good job.
We specialize in a lot of German lagers and English pub ales at our breweries.
Cool. That's great, because, that's a dying art.
Yeah, we actually have 2 beer engines, so we have 2 beers on cask in the tap room.
Cool. It's, there's not a lot of breweries that are putting out Doppelbocks, so this is a rarity.
We got a Vienna lager on a side pour. You can get a slow pour of it as well.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So you might want to get to 7 Railroads. There it is. I like this lady. She got a lot of energy. All right, I got to keep moving. Thank you, Rachel.
You're welcome. Cheers.
Okay, I'm with Jay from OTR. That is Off the Rails. They're in Stafford Springs. I have been there quite a few times. And what did you hear me?
That is the Jules IPA, New England IPA.
Okay, and what's the ABV on this one?
That is You had to ask me that.
I did have to ask you that.
Hold on, I gotta look. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I think 6.5.
6.5.
I was right. 6.5. All right, I'm gonna give it a taste.
Yeah.
Nice and light on the palate. Nice clean finish. Solid New England. That's tasty.
This recipe is actually Jay's recipe.
You know, you guys have too many J names in your brewery. I go to the brewery and I'm like,
Say Jay, something like that.
yeah, exactly. That's what I did to him. I said, Jay, I like these guys. They're from a town I grew up in, Stafford Springs. Jules is good. That's solid. I really like that. Beer with beards. It's like I should live here.
Yes, you should.
I'm with Kyle from Crafted Hope Brewing, and you're from Rhode Island?
East Greenwich, Rhode Island. Yep. About the central part of the state, a little south.
Nice. And what did you hand me?
I gave you the Hopeful Double New England IPA.
I love a good double. All right, and what are we looking for in the taste?
So we use 3 German hops that are not very well known. It's Calista, Solero, and Tango.
Yep.
They all give off a very prominent stone fruit melon type of flavor. I'm a big supper for like stone fruit, peach, all that.
Yeah.
So this double is very nice, very smooth. 8.3, but it goes on easy. So
8.3. If you know me, 8.3 is very respectable. Wow. Let's give it a taste. Oh, nice clean finish. That's nice. Good job.
thank you very much.
Wow. So it's a little dank, but there's a nice sweetness to it. It's balanced very well. That's good, guys. Good. I like it. Sweet. All right. Crafted Hope. I gotta ask, where'd you come up with the name?
So the Rhode Island slogan is hope.
Okay.
And then, so we played on that. We all grew up in Rhode Island. We're all from Rhode Island, born and raised. So we wanted to pay tribute to that. And then crafted is just, we want to specialize on our crafted beer.
Yep.
So we kind of merged the two worlds, Crafted Hope.
And you just opened in 2024?
Yes, Black Friday in 2024. So very new, very new.
Awesome. All right. Get over there and visit them and get some good beer. Now I'm with Amy from Rustic Brewing in Springfield, Massachusetts. And what did you hand me?
We've got the Rustic Bicentennial Collab Fruits of Our Passion. It's a New England style IPA. And we have this one, we teamed up with our friends at Bicentennial. They're a home brewer in the area. And it's loaded up with some Nectaron hops to bring out the passion fruit flavors and tropical flavors. So
Nice.
yeah, it's a good one. Nice smooth, 6.5%. New England style IPA.
That's respectable. I like 6 and up. So.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Well, let's give it a taste. Dead on for New England. Little dank, nicely sweet, kind of light on the palate.
Getting those passion fruit notes, tropical notes.
Absolutely. Yeah, you've definitely got those nice tropical notes, but the passion fruit stands out.
Great.
Nice clean finish too. Oh, that's delicious. Well, Rustic Brewing, there's another one for you all to check out.
Indian Orchard Mills in Springfield, Mass.
Beautiful. Thank you, Amy.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right.
Cheers.
Almost Famous Brewing presents upcoming events for May. On May 9th, we kick off our all-new car show season. Every Friday, starting at 5 p.m. May 10th, Aquanet is live in our tap room. New England's most authentic 80s tribute band will be rocking the house from 7 to 10 p.m. Don't forget, every Wednesday we have our weekly jams where you can be the rock star, or at least almost famous. Check our Instagram or Facebook for details.
In the studio with Nick and I is a young man named Joe Marks. He is known as Mr. Beer Critic. That's right. Show that logo off, brother. And he and I met at Labyrinth Brewing.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me, bud. I know it was episode 19, but that's my lucky number, so perfect. That works out.
Time out. How is that your lucky number?
My birthday, January 19th, 1999. My whole birthday is just ones and nines.
Oh, damn.
So
That's awesome.
Too.
That's cool. So we met at Labyrinth. I think we met more like first online.
Yes, you reached out to me on Instagram,
Yep.
and you reached out to me. I was still kind of growing. I didn't really do too much. I've been posting pictures and stuff here and there.
Mm-hmm.
You reached out to me and you recognized me from the area, and you asked me to come meet you and
Right.
give me some tips to try and boost my profile and start gaining in more of a following. Do stuff like that.
Did it work?
I worked out a lot. I just hit 2,000 followers. So
congratulations!
Something that I didn't really think too much about when I started the account.
Right.
But even stuff before I talked to you, I didn't put my face out there. I just took a picture of the beer and then posted it online. And you told me get more involved with it. You gave me some tips. I started making reels. I started taking selfies, or when I go out with my girlfriend, I'll have her take a picture of me and the beer.
Nice.
And definitely just boosted up a lot of stuff just to see a face behind the account up there.
Exactly. That way, when you walk into a brewery too, they see your face and they recognize you.
Yeah.
And then they start doing things for you, which is kind of weird, but it's all good. But and then we've also met at a few other places. We've met at we were at Back East Brewing.
Yep.
We were hanging out with the brew heads. We were hanging out with Tony, the owner. Yeah. And that was a good time.
On their nice patio outside. When it's nice out there, it's such a good brewery to sit outside at.
Yeah. They had all the overhangs over us and stuff. It was a good time. But yeah. So what made you get into this?
Yeah, I actually started my account. My very first post was at Back East. My girlfriend and her family, they would go to Back East a lot. They knew Tony a little bit, and then that got me into going to Back East with them. Eventually, my girlfriend would start going by herself. We went with her friends. And one day we were sitting there, and her friend was talking about how he was going to make an account and start reviewing hummuses online. I don't know why. And I don't think he followed through with it. I think he did one YouTube video about it.
Okay.
But stuff like that. And I was like, that's silly. And my girlfriend was like, you should do that, but with beer, because you always love going out to the breweries and trying all the stuff. I'm like, maybe I should. So I sat there at Back East, and I had 3 beers, took pictures of all the beers I had, posted little reviews online, and made an account right then and there and put it out there.
And you started right out as Mr. Beer Critic?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Beer Critic was a name looking back now that I actually take it seriously and have a following and all that and interact with breweries, I probably wouldn't have chosen this name. I probably would have chosen a little softer, not as pretentious.
Honestly, I understand exactly what you're saying, because it's like, oh boy, he's going to critique us.
Yeah, I'm in no position to critique.
No, you've got a lot of experience in drinking beer. So.
I don't know.
Right?
Yeah.
Are any of you guys football fans?
Not so much.
Not so much.
I'm a Steelers fan. There was this guy, Antonio Brown, who was a big wide receiver for us. And now he's famous for going crazy, kind of. But during his process of going crazy, one of the things he did on the long list of things was he renamed himself Mr. Big Chest. And would go by MBC, Mr. Big Chest.
Wait, can you do that because of you?
I can try.
Well, you're the beef, so anyway.
I am the beef.
But go ahead.
So when I made my account, I thought that was really funny, and I was like, I'm going to name my account MBC because I wanted to honor that.
Gotcha.
And so Mr. Beer Critic was the closest thing I could think of to really do the MBC.
Right.
That's where the name came from.
Now, you're on Instagram. I know that.
Yep.
Are you on any other platforms?
Right now, I only use Instagram. Again, I like taking the pictures of the beer. I just started making reels more recently.
Okay.
But I haven't branched out. I know TikTok and doing YouTube are big things that I want to try and start doing. My girlfriend and I have gone back and forth on trying to make a website, and we make a little process, and then we table it, and then we start and make a little process table, and keep going like that. But stuff that I have in mind right now, they're only on Instagram.
Okay. I actually have a website, but I'm going to be dropping it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It's an expense. It is. You have to pay for the domain name. You got to pay for the website hosting every year. And I've noticed that, I get hits every single day, but I don't think it's worth the money. I rather just focus on my YouTube, get people to listen to this podcast with fantastic guests like Mr. Beer Critic and focus on that instead. And YouTube's free, so that's a little something. I'm always giving you little pieces of something, but I'm going to drop my website.
Okay.
But if you want a website, you go for it. Okay. Seriously.
See what happens. It's been in the works and hasn't happened yet. So we'll see where that goes.
Excellent. All right, so you're a native to Connecticut.
Yep, born and raised Connecticut. Grew up in West Hartford, and then been living there for many years. Then moved to Manchester with my girlfriend. We started living there. In part, one of the reasons we moved to Manchester was she lived there before with one of her friends from college.
Okay.
So we just kind of moved to the same place they did, and it also happened to be right across the street from Labyrinth Brewing. Right. So I was we were looking for apartments, so like, hey,
can't say no to that.
If I lived across the street from a brewery, especially one like Labyrinth, it would have been very bad.
Blessing and a curse.
Right? Blessing for Labyrinth, because I want uh-oh, buddy's here. Oh, hide everything. But yeah, we had a good time. We just did a lot of chatting. And I think we bumped into each other at Dudleytown.
Yes, I met both you guys at Dudleytown.
That's when I met. It was on my first date with my now fiance. So it was just funny how much things have changed since that moment.
And also, you and I, the very first influencer party we did was at Rule of Three, and you were there for that one.
I wasn't at Rule of Three. I haven't been there yet before.
Really?
Unfortunately not. I want to go to Rule of Three soon, but I haven't been able to make it over.
Oh, we'll go together then. Yeah, because John and Scott and they're all great people over there, so it's a good time over there.
Yeah, it's on my bucket list for sure.
I thought you were at that one.
I don't think I was able to make it to that one. I don't remember the circumstances.
Okay, and I know you weren't able to make the Almost Famous one, but you know what? That's all good because we got a ton more of those events coming up, and I know you're going to be able to make some of them at least.
Yeah, I'm going to put it in my calendar as soon as we know.
So, sorry, I got so distracted. What the hell did you do to your arm?
I cut it at work like a week ago.
Oh, that was the cable thing?
Yeah.
Still? That's still on there?
Yeah.
So he works for a cable company. We will leave the name out. And you got sliced by a cable.
Yeah.
How, dude?
Very carefully, or not carefully.
Yeah, it distracted me. It's pretty nasty looking. Anyway. All right. So what do you think you want to do with your account now? I mean, you got Mr. Beer Critic out there. What are you looking to do?
When I first started it was just to be a blog to like post stuff for my friends to see, just for fun. Now we're at the point I am, knowing how a lot of breweries in Connecticut are and how spreading the word about them can really help a lot of places. My goal is pretty much to go to as many places in the areas I can, try good beer, put it out there and get the breweries recognized and get people to kind of come to Connecticut and try them. Get people who are in Connecticut to say, hey, maybe I should go get a beer at this brewery and do that instead of, sitting around at the house. Like I could drink Bud Lights at the house, or I could go try a nice beer at the brewery, stuff like that. Trying to just reach out to that kind of thing,
Nothing light about this Bud over here. And no, that's exactly what we're supposed to be doing. That was when I got into this, I took the Hippocratic Oath and, do no harm. Just try to promote these Connecticut breweries. Because honestly, I mean, out of all the breweries in the nation, sorry, but I think Connecticut has some serious breweries, really do, and they make some really great beer. But we'll leave that to the side. So, in terms of your account, though, you're talking about getting out and getting to breweries. Are you hoping to expand in any way to other platforms?
Oh, I mean, like we talked, like platforms like other types of drinks or like food like or stuff,
TikTok, YouTube, that kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. I think YouTube is something, and TikTok, because I started making those reels more. So I'm starting to get into making videos. I like doing it. Even just sometimes it's hard at the brewery, but I've been doing stuff a lot. I like to do my reviews based on draft, just going to a brewery, because that way I don't buy a bunch of cans and drink too much in case you're doing that. But one thing I started doing sometimes is I'll go to the brewery, try a beer there, and if I really like it, buy a 4-pack on my way out, and then make a reel and use that beer to make a reel. So stuff like that, is definitely something I can translate into YouTube and TikTok, which I think are the big two I'd probably move on to and kind of add into my realm.
And again, like you said, that helps the breweries also.
Yeah.
I'm stumped at the moment. So editing is a wonderful thing, trust me.
Well, I got a question just out of curiosity. So obviously you're a huge drinker of IPA, but everybody has their gateway beer that led into it. what did you drink before you switched into the IPAs? For me, it was the Sam Adams Cherry Wheat used to be my favorite beer, and it's just I haven't had one of those in a long time.
So, like, what's your go-to beer?
Just before
IPA.
Before you were drinking, going to the breweries and enjoying real beer.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Real beer.
So, I mean, everyone has, like, I've had friends that before they did this were into Stella.
Okay.
And stuff like that. What was kind of
You're
like...
not going to like my answer.
Uh-oh, here it comes.
In college, I went to University of Hartford.
Okay.
And there was a liquor store nearby who... I'm not going to name names because I don't want to get them in trouble, but they didn't card.
Oh.
I would go there, early years of college. And what does a college kid want? You want volume.
Mm-hmm.
So I was big on Keystone Lights.
Okay.
I'd go down there and get
At
a
least you
36
say
rack of
duels.
Keystone Lights.
Oh, duels. Really? The college student wants to get plastered. You didn't say Budweiser. I'm glad about that.
Well, bang for your buck with the Keystone Lights. Go crazy with that. First beer I ever actually drank, though, was a Sam Adams.
Oh.
It was just I think the regular Sam Adams lager.
Yeah.
But
I feel like Sam Adams is a pretty good gateway into it. They have a lot of different stuff. I mean, their porch rocker, it's pretty good beer.
Oh, yeah.
For me, again, it was a cherry wheat. Their blondes tend to be pretty good.
The Boston lager.
The Boston, yeah.
Your cousin from Boston.
From Boston.
Those are real
they do a
winners.
good, their summer pack.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Is
Like-
their lighter beers they still stand up to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I drank a lot of Sam Adams before I really got into the Connecticut scene. So.
But then, like, what kind of then transferred you? I mean, for you, it was Ice Cream Man.
Basically, yeah. My brother gave me a 4-pack of ice cream.
And that's kind of what made you realize that there was something that didn't taste that bad.
Right.
But
it wasn't, yeah.
Yeah, so the fact
wasn't
that there's
molten.
fact that there's actual flavor, there's actually
yeah,
work behind some of these. So do you know what the first was for you?
I had Road to Ruin before.
Oh, wow,
which
that's
is
a good
kind of
choice.
a bite of a beer. But that made me drink it like really slow. And this was back when I was working, still in college, working a summer job. There was a lot of manual labor. So I'd come back home and I'd want to just like sit down in the hammock and have a beer and like relax.
Mm-hmm.
And I picked up some Road to Ruin because it was a high ABV. I'm like, oh, I'm going to have a nice heavier beer, relax in the hammock with that. Definitely had to sip it. But I was like, this is actually pretty good compared to what I was drinking. Usually, like getting like a 6-pack of Bud Light or something. I'm like, all right,
it's a world of difference. I did the Flying Dog Raging Bitch was mine.
Yeah,
that's a good beer. So Road to Ruin, fantastic. So yeah, it
still holds up to me too.
It absolutely does.
So I've noticed, like, and I made this comment, I think, on your walls on your Instagram. You're everywhere lately. You're doing really good. You're like. I see you constantly at different breweries, different beers. That's fantastic. But can you like put your finger on like what's your go-to brewery?
I think it's hard to say exact. Can I do my top 3?
Absolutely.
Okay. Top 3 that I'd probably choose to go to in Connecticut. I'm going to put Fox Farm, which I think a lot of people say.
There you go. That's
but they're not overrated. Like they're properly rated up there at the top.
Great.
Dead Language Brewing.
Oh, yeah.
I love Dead Language Brewing. And actually, I've brought my family there before. My dad's one of those guys that's still just like a Bud Light. Like his classy beer is getting a Miller High Life, which, to each their own.
Yeah, and we had Chris DeCrasio sitting right there. So that's a fantastic brewery.
But that was one of the first breweries I've taken my dad to where he was like, this is really good. Because he usually doesn't like the hoppy, like IPAs and stuff like that.
Yep.
And I love Back East. So I'd probably put Back East there too as well.
Oh, hey, shout out to Tony, right?
Yeah. The Ice Cream Man series is fantastic.
Awesome.
So good.
Well, so we have a beer here, and it's from Greater Good. Now, you're familiar with Greater Good.
Yep, I've been there once before.
Okay. And I saw them yesterday. I was at the Brimfield Brew Fest, as I probably have mentioned. But, yeah, they were there, and they were so packed, I didn't even get to them. They're a great brewery. It's actually one of the very first breweries that the Blurb posted from. Heather and I were there, and the Moose was up there, and we just thought it was a lot of fun. So we posted from there. But Nick, you brought us. Go ahead, you read this one.
Yeah, so this is a prickly pear. Good lord,
say it again.
I can apparently prickly pear
fast.
margarita.
Oh my god!
And it is
Nick.
called Funk Daddy. It is a 8% sour ale.
They had this there. I didn't get to taste it, but they had it there.
So I don't think I've had a margarita sour before.
I definitely have
so
not.
I'm not entirely certain what we're looking forward to, but I mean.
But at 8% ABV, that's impressive.
You
for a
can't go
sour.
wrong with that. I'm going to read the little thing on the side
Go
here.
for
It says, built upon the base recipe of a Great American Beer Festival award-winning brew, Funk Daddy. This is an 8% ABV margarita sour. Is packed with natural prickly pear puree with a hint of lime to yield a sweet yet tart sour ale flavor experience that is perfectly balanced and supremely drinkable.
Nice. Well, you feel like having a beer with us?
Oh, I'd love to.
All right. Well, guys, let's crack open some prickly pear beer.
Nice.
All right, let's see what this thing smells like. Yeah. Hello. There it is.
Yep. Yeah, it took a second. So, yeah.
Every sour I've ever done this with, I've said this. It smells like a sour.
It smells citric.
So I can definitely smell the tart a lot in that, actually.
What berry is it? I don't have my glasses on. I'm sorry.
It's a prickly pear margarita.
Prickly pear.
Other than that, I honestly, I didn't. You normally research and figure all that out, but I figure we're going a little blind. Make this,
So it has that sour, but at the same time, it's kind of sweet.
Yeah.
You catching that?
I am, and I smell the tart is what I actually get the most.
I'm catching the pear now.
Pear. Can you smell the lime?
I don't know, Joe. You got some lime. I got this pear. Really,
I don't have
sour
the-
pear. I got.
Got some pear and lime. I accidentally poured it too heavy and sniffed a little up my nose. So.
Right. Either
Which
you're doing lines.
Let's see.
You
really
think
what
I'd
the
be a
nose is.
veteran, but
I've
Margarita,
had them where I
lines.
poured half it on my freaking leg during the. It happens.
All right. Well, let's give it a taste.
wow.
That's a sour.
That's a sour.
I definitely taste the pear a lot more than
Oh
Big
yeah.
time. Big time. I don't know why they call it margarita though.
No.
I'm not.
maybe because of the
Catching-
smell. Smell was a little more.
I gotta say though,
It's interesting.
it's good. I'm enjoying it.
It's not as sour as I thought it would be. In a good way, you know.
Yeah. I mean, the first sour I ever had was the sour monkey.
Really? That was the first
That was
sour
the
you ever
first
had?
sour, and that's when I was like, a sour beer. What is this? I was like, holy shit, that's sour. It's a good beer. I like those. Those are what,
The-
9%?
First sour I ever had was right from East Hartford Brewing, and that was a true sour. And that one spoiled me because every sour after that was like compared to it.
So you flew too close to the sun right off the bat,
Exactly,
didn't you?
yeah, my wings melted, that's for sure. But this is definitely a classic sour flavor, but that pear just takes over
It
so
really
much.
does.
It's kind of weird.
I'm definitely not tasting the alcohol content at all, though. At an 8%,
For a big plus.
if you like sours, this is a little dangerous.
Yeah, because that could go down quick.
Oh,
It tastes like juice.
yeah, it really does. Just a nice little
Yeah.
sour juice. So it's just,
Yeah.
you can make some mistakes with this one right here. You're really good.
Poor decisions.
Yeah.
So, keeping in mind that we're drinking a sour,
Which, one of the reasons I got it is you don't normally care for sour. It's just kind of,
exactly.
it's better than the other stuff I normally bring.
He's brought us some bizarre beers, dude. And that was the funny thing is like last episode, Mary Kate TV was here, and Mary Kate had brought us a kind of bizarre beer, and I'm like, oh my god, you're channeling Nick. What the hell? But it was decent beer anyway. So in terms of a sour, where are you with it in a rating?
Uno mas.
Uno mas. Okay.
Honestly, 3 3/4.
Okay.
I like this. I really like this.
Joe, what do you think?
I would put it towards one of the better sours I've had as well.
Okay.
I'm not a huge fan of like overly sour beer.
Mm-hmm.
This one's kind of balanced. Definitely tastes the puree a little bit more, so
Mm-hmm.
it's a little fuller. I like it a lot.
Listen to this kid. I love this kid. That's a good description. I agree with everything you said. So where are you in terms of a rating?
On my scale, I'd give this an A for sure.
Okay. He has a different scale than we do.
I don't know what your scale is.
We're just 1 through 5.
1 through 5.
Yeah. So hospice is generally like a 1 through 5, and then of course you have all your quarters and halves and things like that.
Yeah.
This kid used to do the 0.2, and I was like
0.234. He's like,
It stressed me out so much.
That's enough.
I was forcing his self-flagellation after, so just I got sick of it.
But I agree. It's very tasty. It's got all the classic traits of a sour, and that pear is pretty interesting. So I have to agree with Nick. I'm at 3 3/4 with this one.
It's been a while since we've hit the same number.
Yeah, it has been. Usually you've been a lot lower than me.
I am usually lower than you.
Well, Abomination.
Yeah.
That's weird. Because usually you're the one that brings Abomination, and then you're lower than me.
I know.
You brought the beer.
I know.
So this is good. I like it.
I did.
So yeah, No Coast Taqueria, aka formerly known as No Coast Kitchen, started off doing pop-ups with a hot dog cart like 4 years ago. Kind of built a reputation of having some really awesome, yummy food at really yummy, awesome ticket times. One bite, everybody knows the rules. So we'd show up at breweries, concerts, fairs, quinceañeras, prison release parties, CD release parties, you name it. If there were hungry people who wanted really good tacos, we would show up, slang them to the masses.
That is good. I could do that all. That is really good.
I kind of built an empire, but instead of brick by brick, taco by taco, a couple of tacos, bam! So now here we are in the empire.
Okay, we're back, and today is a treat. Returning to the podcast for a third time is Mr. Sean Gaura of Labyrinth Brewing. You made the announcement that you're opening again. Can you explain what you're doing?
Yeah, so it's kind of a slow roll. We are contract brewing now through East Rock and distributing through G&G, beverage distributor out of Wallingford. Starting with a couple of what were our flagship brands when we had the tap room. So Turbo Love Juice and I'm Dead Inside, and we will be expanding the offerings from there.
Nice. I am so happy to see Turbo Love Juice. Do you think you could be able to get more of the brands out, more of the...
Yeah, I definitely do. We're actually already in this discussion about that.
Nice.
Yeah, so, we've only had the 2 brands have only been out for about a week now. And even that was sort of a soft push, really. So it wasn't like the full push,
Right.
but it's been selling extremely well so far. And yeah, it would be nice to, expand on that. And, everyone is on board with it. So,
Joe, didn't you say you saw some... you saw Turbo Love Juice at somewhere?
Yeah, Mulberry Street Pizza.
Yep.
I go there a lot. It's a great place, and they had it on their tap, and they posted about that. So it's
yeah,
nice to see it back out again.
Yeah, it's great. They're great people there. I mean, it's right down the road from where I live too, and they've always been a huge supporter of us.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's nice to see it out in the wild again.
Okay.
So it kind of feels like the first time we saw it out in the wild years ago.
Yeah.
So.
And how is so Turbo Love Juice, that's always been a favorite of everybody. How is the recipe holding up? Is it the same? Does it taste the same? I mean, you brought some, so we're going to taste it. But
yeah, I think it is pretty close. It's a great representation of the beer. Okay. The only real change with it is the base malt in it. More for just I'm using East Rock's house base malt for it, which I was fine with. Okay. It's a type of beer where base malt's great and it's a majority of the beer, but it's in an IPA that's very heavily hopped. It's not the it's not the meat and potatoes,
right,
so to speak.
Yeah.
But as far as the amount of hops, the types of hops, the variants of those hops, and then the techniques used. Yeah, it's there. Water profile's the same, and
beautiful.
I was extremely impressed with East Rock's attention to detail.
Yeah.
So it's been a really great experience with them.
And you're not the only one contracting there.
Nope.
There's a few. I've heard some, other brewers have had some really good experiences there.
Yeah. I was actually turned on to them by another brewery, Broken Cemetery.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, down in Bethel. So I was helping them out here and there, and they mentioned they were contracting their distributed beers through East Rock, and they had a great experience. So that kind of prompted me to sort of look in that direction.
Mm-hmm. And the other beer that you're brewing right now is
I'm Dead Inside. It's
the dinosaur.
Yeah, it's got the dinosaur. A former staff member, Charlie, drew the dinosaur in a Post-it note originally, and I always tell everyone that beer was a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I started brewing, and some of the supplies got lost by UPS. I didn't realize it, but I already had the beer in the works.
Yeah.
So let's see what we have. Let's see what we can make. We'll do X, Y, and Z, and it, we figured it'd be a one-off, and it turns out it went over really well.
Yeah,
so, I was happy with that, but that's,
I'm glad you kept notes on it too.
Oh, the notes are, it's endless.
Yeah.
The amount of notes on every single thing we brewed, from large scale to the pilot system we used to have.
Right.
They're very extensive. Yeah.
Because I went to a brewery once, and I'll leave the name out. But they had a mistake beer.
Yeah.
And it ended up being a really dark IPA, and it was fantastic.
Nice.
And they didn't take notes. And that was the one time it was out. That was it.
Yeah.
I was so disappointed because it was very good. Matter of fact, I think it was one of the best beers they made. But, it
happens sometimes.
Those things do happen. Now, this might be sensitive, but you're calling this part phase 1.
Yeah.
Do you have a phase 2 in mind?
Really,
or if you don't feel like it's...
No, it's a lot of thought goes into phase 2. Really, is just getting more brands out there.
Okay.
I would say,
That's a good idea.
expanding on the distro side of things.
Mm-hmm. Marketing.
On the marketing aspect, it's sort of that slow, cautious role, if that makes sense. Given the previous circumstances, and also not to be a Debbie Downer, but the state of the industry in general is there's definitely some decent shakeup going on, but I'm not sure of the phase number.
Okay.
But within the phases, there's definitely an end goal of trying to have a brick and mortar facility.
Okay.
What exactly that looks like.
Right.
That's yet to be seen.
Yeah, when you cross that bridge.
But exactly, so.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you brought Turbo Love Juice with you.
Yeah.
I mean, can we crack it open and sip on it while we're talking?
I'm not going to stop you.
Oh, boy.
I got to say how happy I am to see these again.
Right?
The last one I thought I'd ever drink, I made a little stupid video and sent it to him.
That's funny.
Being all depressed and stuff.
Yeah.
So seeing another one in front of me right now is actually a fantastic thing.
Nice. Yeah, we're still doing that.
Yeah, it's funny. People, yeah.
Can I ask what hops you use in this?
Oh yeah, by all means. Citra, Laurel, Cascade, and Equinaut in here, and it's blended of like standard T90 and cryo, and then some various extract versions of those hops.
Wow, that smells exactly as I remember it.
Delicious and nutritious.
Oh, hello, baby.
I missed you.
Right?
Does it feel familiar?
It really does.
All right, great.
Does. It has a little bit of a dry finish though this time. It's interesting. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely not overly sweet. IPA. Never really has been.
No.
But
yeah.
Finished in the same gravity points and all that kind of jazz. It was really surprisingly right on point.
This is like
6.5. Yep.
6.5. Nice.
Yep.
This is awesome. I am so happy you bring this back.
My past life.
Jeez. Sure. Keep dreaming.
Yeah, reverse them.
Yeah, it was definitely the first time I actually had one, aside from taste testing off the tanks at East Rock before it was carbonated or conditioned or anything, was at Mulberry Street on a Thursday. And I'm just, I get it. I'm tasting, I'm like, well, it's been about 9 months or so since I've had one of these. I didn't take any home.
Oh, wow.
So I got 0 beer when we closed the tap room.
And it disappeared off the shelves and package stores like crazy.
It's just gone. Yeah. So I'm like,
I had it for a while.
Yeah.
I had this stuck around there for a while. The sour batch, I kept seeing those.
Okay.
I'd love that to come back at some point too.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
So you go ahead. You're saying.
Yeah. So
you didn't have any.
I was just sitting there and I'm drinking. I'm like, this definitely seems right. But it's just funny. Like, it's been so long, and it's I was definitely very pleased, though.
Now, if things go well and contract brewing starts to go to the next stage, you start a third beer.
Yep.
Is there a plan? Which one would you like to bring forward?
Yeah, so, the plan is typically to bring the beers forward that sold the best out in the marketplace.
Sure.
And that's kind of why Turbo and I'm Dead Inside. We had 5 core beers, and then we had the seasonals. So the other cores were Sour Batch, Baby Love Juice, and Hellas Awaits.
Okay.
And while I'd love to bring Hellas Awaits, it was the slowest selling out in the market.
Oh, really?
That's just kind of the way lagers work, despite like the renaissance of lagers.
Right.
It was the fastest selling beer in the tap room. So I had to brew a ton of it.
Okay.
But as far as moving cases, it was the slowest selling beer.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's
what was the ABV on that one?
That was 5.3. I want to say.
So it's an easy drinking beer.
Oh yeah, it's just a Hellas lager, traditional.
Yeah.
It was my go-to beer if I wanted to grab a 4-pack for home. That's but it would I would say Sour Batch is high on the list.
Okay. Hey, so there you go, Nick. Congratulations. But I'm sorry, but Freezing Moon, man.
I'd love to. That would be a project for having a tap room.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, because it was barrel aged, correct?
Yeah, it's tough, contracting out something that's barrel aged and hangs out for a while, and it's also such a small volume too, because with contract brewing, these are 30 barrel batches,
right?
And I can move that up to 60s if needed. A place like East Rock isn't going to contract brew a 5 to 7 barrel batch. It's not time efficient or for them in any way, shape, or form.
And that's normally how you brewed it.
I was a 7 barrel system.
Okay.
So.
That's right.
Yeah. So. We would brew 7 barrel batches and 15 barrel batches. We do 2 turns into 15s. And then for beers like, those barrel aged beers, they'd usually be a smaller yield. And then we'd only release a certain amount at a time. So we would actually bring barrels from previous years forward, blend them with current years, and sort of keep blending as the years went on.
Yeah.
With previous years.
That Belgian quad you made, that was another one that was aged. Correct.
Yeah, that was aged in some Malbec barrels. Yeah.
That Belgian quad was just unreal.
I wish I had got to try that. I at least got to try Freezing Moon.
Yeah, that was one of the best Belgian quads I've ever had.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
There's a home brewer who gave me one yesterday. I was at the Brimfield Brew Fest, and Mr. Kennedy handed me a Belgian quad, and it very, very good. Very, very good. I just don't know if it was aged quite like the way you did it. And no offense to Mike whatsoever, because he's an amazing brewer, but there was something about yours that just my jaw hit the ground.
Yeah, something tells me as a home brewer, you're not going to have 2 61-gallon barrels,
right?
Malbec barrels sitting around in your house, But
exactly.
I mean, if you do, I'm incredibly impressed because you're very dedicated, and you made a lot of batches to fill those. But it's just, something just having access to things like that on a
equipment.
Yeah. I mean, even though the homebrew equipment now is just.
I was going to ask
you.
Before you started doing this, did you do any home brewing?
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I got rid of all the equipment, though.
Okay.
I had it up until we got our 1-barrel pilot system.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, well, I got this now. That's going to, satisfy. It is more efficient to use. It's going to satisfy the need to brew whatever I want while we're, turning core beers and stuff like that.
So you had to reinvest in equipment?
Yeah, I have 0 homebrew equipment right now.
Oh.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. So my question was, did you homebrew after Labyrinth?
Oh, after Labyrinth, no.
Okay, that's
no.
I see.
Yeah, so it's one of those things that's kind of on my list. First thing is sort of get this launched, and then
look for a pilot system.
Yeah, look for some sort of system. My home's got 0 electricity left in it though, so I'm like, I got to upgrade my service, and then I'm like, but I'm still brewing personally, just at another facility now, so I'm still trucking along with that. So
you didn't fall out of practice?
No.
That's, obviously, I mean, this is fantastic. Thanks. It's such a treat to have this again. Awesome. Hey, Joe, anything that you want to ask?
Yeah. So when you were talking about the beers that are on the table for phase 2. I did see this one in stores a lot, but I know she didn't mention it. But Whale of the Banshee was one of my favorite ones that you guys made.
I appreciate that.
Is there any chance that one maybe in the future could come back to?
I would love to get that one back.
Yeah.
It's another one I think could work seasonally.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love it year round personally. That's one of my favorite beers that we did. It's also one of the first beers that we did. It was it was on tap the day we opened, and I made 3 pilot batches of that in my apartment. When we were before we even had a building before,
right.
And, that's just a style I like in general. So, if I were to say what would be the ideal for this contract brewing in distribution, it really to wind around with 4 or so cores that stick around yearly, and then maybe have some quarterly seasonals or stuff like that. And definitely the long-winded answer I'm giving you would definitely be up on my list, so.
It's a podcast. You're allowed to be long.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful part about it. So, okay, let's say everything goes beautiful, all right? And your distro's going great, and you're selling, and you're looking at, it's time for a brick and mortar. But in a perfect world, would you stay in Manchester?
I'd love to stay in Manchester.
Would that be the target?
Yeah.
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 Nice.
Yeah, I mean that would be if it was like my personal brick and mortar, I mean, I grew up in Manchester. I still live in Manchester. I'm a half mile down the road from where the brewery used to be. Feel free to stalk me. There's still a Turbo Lovemobile in my driveway.
Oh, God. But, I'm glad you didn't get rid of it. Good.
I have one. It doesn't start.
But if you get it going.
Yeah.
Now it's useful again.
It's a rolling billboard. But yeah, I mean, and that community really supported us. I mean, just the amount of support in those last 2 weeks that we were open. I mean, that's when, at the time, Adam and I were like, God, there might be something else in this, where we can sort of move forward and do something.
Yeah.
Despite the circumstances that we were in, it was just pretty overwhelming the amount of support, and really, really appreciate it. And
the funny thing is, I can't tell you how many times I heard, well, we all know that Labyrinth is your favorite brewery. And I used to tell people, forget about how good the beer is. They're 15 minutes away from me. Come on, it's right there.
I was like, why wouldn't I want to be there all the time?
It definitely makes it easier. I mean, there's a lot of breweries I've walked into. I'm like, man, if this wasn't 1 hour away, I'd be here all the time.
Right.
But it's 1 hour away.
Exactly.
So,
that home cozy feeling.
Yeah,
The quality was there, though. I mean, I live 2 minutes from a brewery, and I still would have gone to you.
Appreciate that.
Oh, man. I just saw those guys yesterday. Now it's going to be on that podcast. Thanks a lot.
I can use names.
That's true.
Track names.
Yeah, he lives in Waterbury. Nick lives in Waterbury.
Oh, wow.
No, he doesn't.
Oh, okay.
I'm homeless. Don't look where I live.
No, stop.
just the beer hermit.
This is fantastic.
I thought I saw that can out there, that 50-gallon drum, make a fire.
Yeah. I still sport the hobo bag and everything.
Nice.
Now it's going to be full of terrible love juice, so I'm happy.
So you brought some Dead Inside, correct?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
It's probably not terribly cold because, for some reason in my lack of brain power, I grabbed a case of Turbo Love Juice from East Rock.
Okay.
I neglected to grab a case of I'm Dead Inside.
Okay.
So I ran to Trader Joe's this morning to
That's
get the
hilarious.
back.
You had to go buy your own beer?
Does that feel weird buying your own beer?
I would say normally yes, but again, like buying my own pint at Mulberry Street now that's back out, and then buying my own 4-pack at like Trader Joe's is actually kind of cool. Just like to actually be able to do it again, it was cool. So
That's awesome.
It was kind of an enjoyable experience, to be honest with you. So
that's a good attitude about it, then.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna pop open some Dead Inside right after this. It's crazy, Sean, because you and I got together at Dead Language in Hartford. We sat down, had a beer together. That was like, what, 2 months ago?
Maybe a couple months ago, give or take, yeah.
And I really appreciate that moment with you because you said, "But I want to fill you in." And I was like, "Oh my God."
It's a good time. It's nice to have the time available to hang out with people, to be honest with you. So it's great.
And drinking Chris's beers, that's a treat too.
Yeah.
That brewery is so different from all the other breweries in Connecticut. He's just going old school, so God bless him. But like I said, you started to fill me in, and now here we are, and it's happening. This is great, and I can't believe that I'm Dead Inside in my hand right now.
That's what I was saying with the Terrible Love Juice. I never thought I was going to have this in front of my face again.
I know. So
it invokes feelings that I'm not dead inside.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. I had one of these kick it in a fridge.
Okay.
Probably I popped it open 2 weeks ago, and I looked. I'm like, wow, this was packaged last May. And it's just, I found it somewhere. Someone left it at my house, I think. I'm like, I'm just going to hold on to this, and it's okay for how old it was. I mean, we know, you don't hold on to IPAs forever, so.
Actually, I have a friend. He's one of the owners of Growler Power, and he has a 120-minute. It's like 12 years old now.
It's older than me.
Those turn into killer barley wines,
right?
So as long as it's still drinkable. I mean, that's pretty damn old,
right? But he keeps talking about. Well, we're going to crack that open eventually here, and I'm like, okay, so let's crack it open. But no, we're still. So tell us about this beer. What is it? Tell us.
So I'm Dead Inside. It's a double IPA, but not crazy ABV. Mm-hmm. It's 7.8, so it's like right at that lower threshold of double IPA. Okay. Basically utilizing El Dorado, Amarillo, Citra, Cryo Pop, which is a proprietary blend of hops from Yakima Chief. And then we also use a little of the Phantasm Thiol powder, which is like somehow was like, man, those white grape skins from New Zealand, they're going to be good for something. And it turns out, they're full of thiols, and they make a product that's, honestly, you pull it out of a bag, it looks like you're throwing dirt in your beer.
That's funny, though. Yeah, but I know exactly what you're saying.
But, so it just kind of boosts the tropical notes. with that in there as well. It's not a ton, just what I consider sort of like a seasoning. Yeah,
that's a good way to think of it. Yeah. So I as I remember, like you said, this is not a high ABV, but I remember it being a double in flavor.
Yeah.
So that's the exciting part. Well, hey, let's crack this one open.
Right. I'm going to do it in front of the mic too.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was great. All right. Here we go.
3, 2, 1. Nice. Did you say it? Did you say it, Sean?
You thought it.
I forgot. I totally forgot.
What about you? Did you say it?
No, I didn't.
Joe.
I didn't see that coming.
That's all right. Nick and I got it for you.
I think being the third time here, I'd have this down.
Dude, right? I can smell that from here. I don't even have it under my nose like I normally do. Oh.
It's a perfect pour.
Nice head.
Thank you.
Oh, man. There it is. I actually remember when this beer came out. Not the day, but I remember the first time I drank it, it was new. And I was so impressed with it. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
It has, and
that's beautiful.
I had that one in the back of the fridge. This one has more hops. There's definitely the hops are there. So
it's definitely hop forward. Oh man, that's beautiful though.
Yeah, I'd actually like to, in regards to the label, I'd like to, give a shout out to Charlie who made this label.
There you go.
So.
Yeah, I'm dead inside. That's adorable.
Yeah,
he's ready to cheers. No,
I thought we were cheers. I forget there's a camera back there.
Normally, what I do is you're going to see a little graphic pop up of this can, so we're good.
But yeah, she kind of nailed it. She do all these Post-it notes, weird self-deprecating stuff, which is hilarious. Right above our desk in a place, and again, like I mentioned. At one point, this was sort of a happy mistake of a beer because some stuff didn't show up at the brewery when it needed to. And, we're like, well, we're going to package it. So what we do for a label? Just pull the Post-it note down and we're like, that's it. Right there.
It's a happy accident, not a mistake, because it's an incredible beer.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's adorable. That label's adorable.
I feel like people really identify with it,
Yeah. It's always a fun one at the brewery.
Yeah.
And this is in distro also.
Yep.
It's going in barrels.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know, where they're putting it in restaurants? What,
since it's only been about a week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, bless you.
God,
wow.
Excuse me.
That was the quietest sneeze of all time.
Yeah, he didn't want to sneeze on my mic.
I know. It's kind of a thing, I like to hold them in. I like to see if my head's going to explode.
Not this time.
No.
Maybe next time. Go ahead.
That would make for great content. So it's only been about a week.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really have a firm grasp of that.
Okay.
Going into this week, though, I will be getting reports on where it's going, as far as stores, bars, restaurants, and I will be updating the website to reflect that. And basically, I'm going to update the website at least bi-weekly. Obviously, I can't guarantee that they haven't sold out of it or any of that jazz, but there will be a page there where you at least have a good idea of where the beer's been. So,
I mean, you got Untapped and, running the menus and all the other companies that run the menus. So people know how to tap into that and figure out where to find it.
Yeah.
But I was just curious if you had any idea any particular spots.
Right now I know on draft, Mulberry, obviously, Hops 44.
So Hops 44, I was about to bring that up. I apologize for interrupting. Yeah. They're right down the street from me.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're a great little spot.
Yeah,
Nancy has just done wonders with that place. So it's going there.
It's already been there, actually.
Oh God!
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's still there, because I don't know how much they purchased. But I did get a text from them last night saying we already blew through a log.
There you go.
So so it's fantastic. I mean, they've also been just fantastic supporters.
Yeah. Nancy, Tyler, good job. A little plug for you. Love you guys.
Those are the 2 local places on draft that I 100% know.
Okay.
So, I'll pass that, your guess is as good as mine until next week.
Awesome. So we were talking off camera during the break. Yeah, whatever. And I was talking to Sean about the home brewing.
Yep.
And I told him I have some equipment that I picked up. I got a lot actually. This guy just gave me a whole bunch of stuff for like $200, and I'm still dumbfounded that he gave me all this stuff. But I'm asking you to, if you would be willing to come over on a certain time, we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
And do some home brewing with me, and do some videos if you're cool with that.
100%. Yeah.
And put that on my YouTube. And that would be a real treat because people will get to see you in action rather than just tasting what you're doing. Small scale, obviously. I only got a 10-gallon system, but it'd be fun.
Brewing is brewing.
Amen.
It does, obviously there's a lot of things to consider on the commercial size, but
Absolutely.
The theory and the processes and all of that, you could be brewing in 15-gallon pots. You could be brewing on a 15-barrel system. The aspect of it and everything you need to accomplish is pretty much the same.
It's math.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's all math.
Yeah, it's math, it's process, it's temperature control, it's all that kind of stuff. So
I've watched Jim Wilfinger take a little batch that he'll do in he's got a tiny pot and just start doing the math. And then he'll come over with a glass of a base and add a little something to it, and then hand it to me and say, "All right, what do you think?" And then he'll start taking notes, and it's really cool. I love doing that stuff, but it's a recipe.
Yeah.
Chefs, they can make something for a family of 6, or they can make it for 600. It's just all math. And I'm really excited that you would be willing to come over and do a little home brewing.
Yeah, 100%. I'd be excited to do it. So it's there's something like going through the process of owning a place.
Mm-hmm.
There was always those moments where you're like, God, I kind of wish I was just home brewing in my garage.
Yeah, I've heard of other brewers tell me that.
Yeah, because there's something be said. It's a great time. It's very social. You're having beer. It's like, I know everyone's like, oh, it must be great to work at a brewery, just drinking beers and brew.
No, that's not the way it goes.
No, because everything here can probably kill me. So I'm not going to just sit here and get loaded.
Yeah,
while
it's a lot of work.
Yeah, while there's 200 plus degree wort going on, or there's something under pressure, or that'd be great. That'd be the best job ever if you could.
No, but brewing beer is a lot of work. I've brewed with quite a few of the bigger breweries, and it's a hard day. It really is.
Yeah.
A lot of science and math in it that I can't follow.
Thimble Island was fun to brew at, but it was kind of like working with the Jetsons, because Cy Higgins would be like, push that button. He goes, okay, so now the hopper is. I'm like, oh, what? We don't have to pour it in. But brewing with Scott at Rule of 3.
Yep,
that was brewing. He's got this little tiny system, and he was a good teacher too. And that was, I just really felt like I was brewing that day.
Yeah,
so that was cool.
Yeah, once you get to a certain size system, it's especially like Thimble Island, large, do some contract brewing. It's a 4-vessel system.
Well, they got 90 BBL tanks.
Yeah, it's it's so much material. I don't think you're going to go in there and completely clean out they have a mash and they have a lauter ton, and then I don't think you're going to clean the grain out of there with you and a plastic hoe.
No,
that's just not
a little bit though.
A little bit,
yeah.
But to a certain degree, it helps push it out for you. It does all that kind. So it's
Brewing with Brian at Illicit was pretty interesting too. Because I actually thought I'd go into Illicit and it'd be pretty automated, but it really wasn't. Brian has to brew. I don't know what the Fairfield one looks like yet, but
the Manchester location has I don't know if you remember Parable.
Oh my goodness,
that's their old system.
That's right.
That's their old equipment in there. Yeah, their old 7-barrel equipment from that place. Yeah. Yep.
And that's they've got a huge amount of taps there.
Mhm.
So he's brewing. He's a busy man. He's a busy boy.
Better to be busy,
right?
know?
Right. All right. So I really appreciate you coming out. I really appreciate you letting us have some Labyrinth beer.
Appreciate you having me.
I'm so excited for you. I can't wait to watch this happen. I hope I can be involved in a little bit, helping you out in any way possible. We're here for you in any capacity that you need us to be.
Yeah,
but thank you so much. And guys,
all right, we're good. Cheers.
To Labyrinth.
Here he goes.
Cheers.
Woo!
Cheers.